Well, let's add our histogram to this thing. Now, not histogram, sorry, bar chart. Now, it's going to be a little bit different in this case because in the previous projects when we did bar charts or histograms, we kind of lucked out and everything started at a 1. Even if the bins weren't, didn't say 1, for instance, we had a half or 1.5 and all that sort of thing. They were centered around 1. And so in this case, though we centered around 1, well, they began with 1. But here they start with 0. Okay, and so we're going to have to fix that. And let me show you. So suppose I highlight my data here, and for a bar chart, you really only want to highlight the frequencies to begin with. And now, I'll do my insert, a chart. It starts as this nice bar chart going vertically. They call it a column chart. And so sounds good, and I'll say finish. But now notice what happens. See, it starts at 1. And so these are off. These are wrong. Okay, they're off by 1 spot. And so we have to fix that. And generally speaking, in all these spreadsheets, you can. And it's pretty much fixed the same way in each one. Now again, you can go up and find icons to do the same thing. You can look at Google to find these sorts of things. I usually right click, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click right on one of the bars. Okay, and when I right click, I've got all these possibilities like format, data series, and so forth. Actually, what you tend to want is data ranges or something like select data, or I don't know what else they call them, but I've seen, I think maybe Excel tends to say select data. This one says data ranges. But what you want to get, and then you don't actually want range, you want series, that tab. And so what you see is it tells me where I'm getting my data. It's saying frequency because I had that heading right above there. And if you look here, notice it says name, and that says in B3, yeah, that's where it says frequency. It has Y values. Okay, so we have that. And now though, I want to add X values, and that's interesting. And again, I'll probably, I could right now cut this video and just stop, but this will happen to you. What do you do? Okay, now I was expecting it to have something that said X values or something. Oh wait, yeah, I remember now. Categories, right here, categories. And again, every dialog will look a little different, but yeah, you're interested in the categories because what this is thinking as a bar chart is that would really be good if, in essence, the x-axis were categorical data like colors or something like that, right? That works out really well for a bar chart. And so categories, that's what I wanted. So I'm going to click in there, click there to be able to get to all this. And here I'm going to highlight all my bins, including the last one, because it needs to match up with how many Y values I have. And there I've done that, and now I've got my categories, so I say OK, and notice now it starts with 0. So it took me a minute, but I was looking for X, but oh yeah, it doesn't say X, it says categories. And so here we have it from 0, and it actually looks like it went to 34, although it should just be 33, but yeah. You could fix that, right? If I hover over the axes, I think, maybe just over that 32. Format axis. Okay, so I click that, and scale, it's got automatic. Well, what if I, well, maybe I can't do a lot with that because it expects categories. So, I'm stuck with it. I think, that's the best I can do. So I'll just say cancel. All right, so I have that. Now I should add my axes, labels, that sort of thing, right? So titles, insert titles, and what the heck for a title? Oh, I don't remember. How about I could make it short, like, I don't remember what the project says. I could make it short like the AAB. I could say African American / black simulation. Frequencies, I suppose. And like I say, I don't remember quite what I titled it in the project description. Again, some of this, the more we go through the course, the less I'm going to tell you what to title things. If it makes sense, to you, if you think readers will understand, then go for it. Okay, so African American black simulation frequencies. Okay, so that pretty much, if the reader's reading everything else, they can see what's there. X-axis, and here what I'm going to say is number indicating bias. Okay, that definitely tells me what those x-axis numbers are, and then y is frequency. And I say okay, and I have that. I don't really need this thing over here, so I'll get rid of that. And there we go. There's a very nice plot of this. And in semesters past, I've actually had you not go all the way from 0 to 33. I've had you cut it off a bit. But this semester, we're not going to do that, so we'll keep it from 0 to 33. And there's our nice sampling distribution bar chart here. Shows us, it's very much peaked here in the middle, and wider on the ends. So that gives us our bar chart, and I think I'm gonna call that good for this video, and then do another video on our hypothesis testing. So here I've gotten the frequencies with the bins. I've made a nice bar chart from it so I can visually see the data, and now what we want to do is do our hypothesis test, determine the answer to our question that we were asking. We were asking, is it likely, do we believe that the African American black population, might it actually be the same as this 0.59, not the 0.7 that's reported in the table? Could we have gotten 0.7 or 23 or more responses, even if the population was 0.59? And well, this is going to help us tell that, because this population here, well, not population, this sample, this random sample of 1,000 cases, which gives us a pretty good estimate of what the population might be able to produce, as far as the sampling distribution, how many responses, because we see here, under this hypothesis that the population it actually experiences some sort of bias, or any bias, at about the 59% level. Well, we could have had as few as 10, according to this. We actually had a case where we assume that one of these trials gave us 10 and one of these trials gave us 30 responses out of 33. So here, as few as 10 out of 33 returned showing bias, and here as many as 30 out of 33 returned. So these are all the possibilities and how likely they are, and this is what we're going to use. So this is a very, very helpful graphic, and of course the table is also helpful as well. All right, so that one's done.